Welcome to the Dubliners channel. Thank you for showing up and viewing and listening and hopefully enjoying and winning, who knows. Winning with these teams as champions. A little introduction about myself. I've been closely following sports ever since 2009. Now, it's not very long, but 2010, where the Giants went to the World Series. In fact, I went to a game that season prior to that happening, and that really kind of launched me into enjoying the story, enjoying the characters, enjoying the moxie. You got to figure it out, and there's a way to do that. It's a slow process. It's a long process. It's a lot of research and reading and enjoying. And hopefully you can also enjoy that with my channel. Because I don't like looking at statistics and numbers and this and that. I mean, once in a while I do, because there's some great things that have happened as far as 33-1 kind of comeback that Cleveland Cavaliers recently did, and numbers such as that and ratios. But I don't like comparing how many yards another team gets to another team. Blah blah blah. Look at Carolina Panthers and Denver Broncos last year. Last season, it's just absolutely ridiculous. Every single NFL analyst picked the Carolina Panthers. Why? Because they had that much of a dominant force and team. And you saw just Peyton Manning just hobbling around all season long. And it looked like it was going to be completely obvious, but it wasn't. It ended up being Denver Broncos. It ended up being the quote-unquote sheriff riding into the sunset. I mean, that to me was just a perfect example of any kind of... look at 2012 Ravens with Ray Lewis. Another case in point. That was just a perfect example, because who did they play? The 49ers. That was also a really cool story, because this is what I'm talking about. John Harbaugh. It was the Harbaugh. Okay, and it was just pretty awesome to see two brothers. We've never seen that before, play in opposite coaching in a Super Bowl matchup. And then, of course, Ray Lewis got to ride into that sunset. Ray Lewis is a preacher. And they all knew that. They all wanted to see him advance and get last ring. That happened. 2013, quickly, let's look at what happened, unfortunately, in the Boston area with the Boston bombing. I'm not saying because that event took place that they won, but there was a lot of heart that went into that city, and a lot of people following it, and then a story built with Boston strong, and that happened. They won. Let's look at 2014, the next year. The San Francisco Giants. We have Robin Williams killing himself. This ended with the city of San Francisco basically being heartbroken in that area, because it was such a great actor and completely unforeseen that, at least by us, the public, that he did that, and supposedly it happened. There's all sorts of conspiracy theories, but anyway, the San Francisco Giants took that and they ran with it, and they won. His own son threw the first pitch out at the San Francisco ballpark. I don't know if people know this or follow this or even care, but they should, because this is the story. Stories end up happening more and more. I'm seeing meaningful teams and actions happen, and the future is created upon these teams because of the story, because of the amount of attention, because of the ratings. All I know is that I've seen the purpose when it comes to certain things happening, when there's a lot more heartfelt action there. Now, so let's look at the stories that are happening as far as September 25th, 2016 in baseball. We have to acknowledge that Jose Fernandez was involved in a boating accident early this morning, and he lost his life. This is an incredible blow to the baseball, an incredible blow to the Miami Marlins, who were almost, looked to me like they're going to be World Series bound. Not this season, but they were close. They got better. They're probably going to be in the playoffs. They were going to be in the playoffs to come next year or the year after, I would think. And without Jose there, it's going to be real tough. But hopefully he can be there in spirit. I'm going to have to do a little moment of silence just for Jose here. Okay. Well, moving on. Rest in peace, Jose. Next, I'd like to talk about a very influential and dedicated person in the Los Angeles Dodgers. Vin Scully, the sportscaster for them, has just retired, and this is after 67 years of a career. He is now 89 years old. Speaking of heartfelt, let's look at the Texas Rangers as far as Prince Fielder and him actually retiring from the game, being on the sideline watching his team, Texas Rangers, try to get in there. That might just be an ALC game, but it might be a win. They might get in there with Fielder on the sideline. But at the same time, losing Fielder is also a blow to that team. Brody Copeland, who was an 11-year-old Little League player, and his father, who was 51, they were on vacation in Nice, France, and tragically were killed in a terrorist attack there, and their favorite team was the Texas Rangers. Then there's that awesome story of that 105-year-old Texas Rangers fanatic who claims she's sold because she drinks Dr. Pepper every day and does not miss a single day for Dr. Pepper. She keeps a stockpile in her fridge. She's actually watched every Texas Rangers game over the last 15 years. And of course, George Bush would want nothing more than to see that team finally make it, and probably win if they did. But I'd also like to see a 67-year committed sports announcer who's been in there for literally 67 years, more than double my lifetime, see his team win the World Series too, with Kershaw's back problems and all of that. Sure, I'd love to see Boston Red Sox with David Ortiz retiring after so long, riding off into the sunset as well. So those are my two teams that I believe are going to be in the World Series this year. We will see when it comes down the stretch. I mean, these things reveal themselves after a little bit of time, but maybe I'm completely wrong, and Chicago and let's see, Texas will be in there, but I highly doubt that. Alright, this is the Dubliner with the Sports Webcast. And I just want to say thanks again. Hope you enjoyed our little discussion here. I will have more videos about philosophy, sports theory, and futures in the near future. Until then, may you have a good future and a good present, better yet. Big shout out to ATL Panda and all the pandas and cubs. Mike Lowry, King with picks. Josh Reynolds, the future of poker, including legit picks. I think that we can all get along, and I think that we can all be fed here. Peace out, everybody.